Ah, Nerevar, welcome. Come and make yourself comfortable. Let me hear about your latest Skyrim adventures. What? What do you mean you still can't choose what to play? We had a sermon about this last week, Nerevar. Well, do not worry, my dear friend, for I can aid you to choose one. So let me tell you about each and every single option you will encounter with the alternate start mods in a sermon. And let's make it fun with a tier list, so you learn which ones to avoid. Let us begin first with Live Another Life and all its add-ons. Caught crossing the border illegally. This is the original start, and the only reason one would get the mod to pick this is because you get to skip everything up until race selection. That's it. F tier, escape my cell. Literally escape from the cell the mod spawns you in with nothing but rags and whatever was in that forgotten place. F tier because there will be better in-jail starts. This is just lazy. Arrived by ship at any of the ports in Skyrim or Solstheim with some basic stuff. Middle-class clothing and some gold. A simple traveler. Very mundane D tier. Property owner of a fully furnished house in one of the 4 major cities. Windhelm and Ravenrock not included due to their quests. You'll start with class clothing, leftover cash, and a selection of weapons fitting the city. It does also allow you to choose from one of the 3 Hearthfire houses, also fully furnished, and with its main facilities built. Or if you find starting as proprietor of a fancy furnished home boring or too easy, you can choose a farmhouse north of Rorikstead. It will also be fully furnished, although still a lower-class home, and you'll get 2 farm tools to work for you and get you a regular income, C tier. Not because of the larger houses, but because of the farmhouse which grants you a business. Don't be an unemployed leech, Nerevar. Leeches do not honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned. Member of a guild. You'll start as a recruit of any of the guilds, or rather factions of Skyrim, since it also includes the Dawnguard and Volkihar mosquitoes with according equipment, and of course their respective quests to start off their storylines. D tier, you can get to any of them in many other ways. Patron at an inn. Simple as that. Bear in mind some inns are more dangerous than others, like Nightgate Inn, which is isolated in the mountains. Who even goes there anyway? F tier. Outlaw in the wilds. You start off as a member of a group of bandits chosen at random from any proper bandit lair in Skyrim or Solstheim. With bandit equipment, bandit friends, and a juicy bounty on your head in a random hold. D tier. Soldier in the army. Be either a mongrel dog or a stormcloak, you'll begin at the point right after what would be each one's first mission, which is little more than a cannon fodder quest either way. A piece of advice. Make sure to watch the Jagged Crown scene or reality may break. D tier. Camping in the woods. A lone hunter camping in the woods with camping and hunting equipment. You'll be camping near Helgen, so you get to witness the dragon attack from afar and will serve as an alternative method to the original start. The camp is permanent, so there's that, I suppose. F tier. Shipwrecked off the coast. Oh, now this one is challenging. You were a passenger on a ship that hit an iceberg off the coast and capsized. Normally, this wouldn't be much of a thing other than boring, but if you use survival mods with hypothermia mechanics, oh, Nerevar, you'll have some good time figuring out how not to freeze in the process. C tier. Attacked and left for dead. You were robbed and left for dead by bandits somewhere remote. Expect other dangers in the forest? Honestly, there isn't much to it other than the difficulty. F tier. Vampire in a secluded lair. You are a vampire in a lair, that's it. It can be any random vampire lair in Skyrim or Solstheim, and you start with average vampire equipment. D tier. Necromancer in a hidden lab. Ah, I'm not a fan of this one. You see, you'll start as a necromancer in Sindarian's lab down in Blackreach. It has absolutely nothing to do with necromancy. There aren't even corpses down there to reanimate. It should have been a Dwemer adventure, not a necromancer one. What a grand and intoxicating innocence. F tier. Vigilant of Stendar. You start as a vigilant with access to their headquarters outside Dawnstar, and that's all. Oh wait, no. You also gate a chest that belongs to you and is safe storage, and now that's all. D tier, there are less anticlimactic ways to become one. Warlock's Thrall. You start off as a warlock's mind-shackled servant, just that you happen to find a ring that lifts that shackle, and well, what else to do than escape, right? Well, the warlocks aren't that dumb, and they'll notice they lost control over you, so I suggest you just run. F tier. Live in an orc stronghold. You start in Dushnik Yal, you'll still be called Outlander, and even thought you'll start with a full orcish armor set and battle axe. You'll be level 1, so be careful out there. It is nothing too incredible, actually, but if you wanted to have an orc playthrough and use other orc mods, then this is A tier. Khajiit Caravan Guard, Farm Tool Guard of a Farm Tool Caravan. F tier for Farm Tool. Member of a Forsworn tribe. Pretty self-explanatory. Forsworn starts with F tier. Argonian Dock Worker. Farm Tool Dock Worker, F tier. Red Guard Alakir Warrior, a random Red Guard in Skyrim. F tier Nerevar. You know what I think of these Enwas, and they remind me of Nazim. Dunmer Refugee, S tier. What? I'm not biased, it really is S tier. You are a Dunmer in Windhelm or Solstheim. What isn't S tier about that beyond being in Windhelm or Solstheim? Altmer Agent of the Thalmor. You start as a Thalmor agent in the Thalmor Embassy. You will be part of their faction. Take anything you want from there, sleep on any bed you find there. But once you get to Helgen, you'll be very unceremoniously expelled from the faction under the assumption that you've abandoned your post. But so long you don't approach Helgen, you'll be fine. A tier, because it is actually really damned hard to find good Thalmor mods, so this one helps a lot. Eric the Slayer's childhood friend. You get to be a Nord Enwa friend of Eric the Slayer from Rorikstead. And of course, you also know Lokir the Horse Thief. A simple start as a local villager. D tier, member of the Penitus Oculatus. You get to be a mongrel dog secret agent in Dragonbridge with full uniform and more mongrel dog equipment. It goes by the same logic as the agent of the Thalmor, however, and upon completing Unbound, you'll be removed for failing in your duties. B tier, because it is somewhat good, but you are still a mongrel dog. New Beginnings offer you many options, but not all of them are worth it. In fact, only a few are. I am an adventurer in a Dwemer ruin. This one succeeds where the Necromancer origin failed. You'll start in Kagrenzel with adventuring equipment. A tier. I have been thrown into jail. See, told you there were better jail starts. You can choose the jail and you'll be a prisoner there. I was going to say F tier because it still is lackluster, but considering Sidna Mine, maybe just D tier for Forsworn enjoyers. I am a wandering merchant or mercenary traveling to Skyrim. This one is marginally more interesting. You'll start with plenty of gear according to which one you chose and spawn at a border outpost. If you go with the merchant option, you'll also have wares and a horse ready to kickstart some business. B tier. I am a warlock witch in a secluded lair. You start in a cave with some, let's just call them colleagues. You forgot for how long you've been in there and decided it was time to go touch some grass, get a job, and live a marginally more normal life, slaying dragons and undead like everyone else. C tier. Next is additional starts options. Bearing in mind it adds 60 more to not make the sermon sound unending, I'll just mention the passable ones. The Blacksmith's Assistant. You are the apprentice of Adrian Avenici, Alvor, Lode, or Zargo. Respectable artisans, all of them. B tier, a death in the family. You are a member of a family in Falkreath. C tier because you are actually part of the world with this Dwemer travel machine. It requires a mod of the same name, and it basically gives you some Dwemer tech that works like fast travel. I don't know how I missed this one for the Dwemer sermon. A tier, family life. Only for Nord families so far, but like the one in Falkreath, there aren't many ways to belong to the world itself. And these ones work quite well. C tier. Search for the Ethereum Forge. You start by Arkhangtams, ready to explore it, searching for the Ethereum Forge. C tier. Vampire Hunter. You have been hunting a vampire all the way from Cyrodiil, Hammerfell, or Morrowind, depending on your race. So in that order, it would be F tier, and S tier. The other 54 are all D and F tier, so don't bother yourself too much with them. If I had to rate the mod itself, I'd say D tier. The Dwemer travel machine and family mods might be worth it. Now on to the next one. Beyond Skyrim, Bruma offers you easy mode or leisure path as a rich mongrel dog or a mage apprentice. Normal mode or warrior's path as an average adventurer, guard, or mongrel dog soldier. Hard mode or perilous path as a left to die or Talos worshipper escaping from the Thalmor. I'd say D tier all in all. It's not very original, but the mod itself at least adds new things to experience. A new Dragonborn extension, which bypasses most of the stuff from the intro to High Hrothgar. It's just a skip, nothing new, and I believe you'd probably miss quite the amount of riches if you skip that much, so F tier. Another day in Rorikstead is another way to start as a local peasant Enwa, F tier, child of Cold Harbor. Let us not go in detail about this one. You are a vampire lord, fresh from Molag's oven. You survived the baking and now you are free to go, D tier. Used to be a dungeon boss like you puts you in the shoes of the last boss of some forgotten Nord ruin. Some looters go in and wake you up. You can then use the place as your base. That's all there is to it. D tier, it has potential. For the start on the border of mods, I'll just list them all together. I do suggest you play with these mods, though. Having more land is always good. The borders themselves are boring, so let's mention just the new places. Grandal, a Talos worshipper. F tier, Nihus, a mongrel dog peasant. F tier, Priai, a Dunmer villager. S tier, Folkstead and Vrostheim, a Nord Enwa. F tier, Morith, a Redguard Enwa. F tier, I really need to have my minion add more F tiers. It's unfair to the other Enwas to be grouped up with these ones. Hofstad, Island Nords. F tier, Kirkmore and Pine March, Breton Enwa. C tier, because the new land the mod offers was beautifully designed. Let us continue with the last Dwemer. I've already explained the base mod in my other sermon. Nerevar, S tier. And finally Why is this thing still listed here? Which of my minions kept the Shire on my list? I will never be able to unsee those massive hairy feet. Ugh! F tier. Are we done? We are done. Yes, that was the last item on the list. I really need to get a 6th house alternate start going. What? That I missed some mods? Oh yes, I forgot to explain that bit. You see, Nerevar, the thing with alternate perspective, the realm of Lorcan and Skyrim Unbound, is that the highlight of those mods is not the starting location. It's the boons they give you when using them. Anything else is quite literally the same. Otherwise, I'd be here all day repeating the same thing 3 or 4 times. In any case, with this, you now can choose something to play, yes? I'll be expecting news of your Skyrim adventures, Nerevar. Until then, you can honor the 6th house and the tribe unmourned by raising your thumbs, subscribing to my sermons, and leaving your thoughts in the parchment below. I thank my patrons for their support. Thanks to the adoring fan Connor Runda and this realm, Sharmat Tanya Davis.